I was recently asked to do a video the next time that I did a project with a resin inlay. So this project has a marine logo inlay in it, and I wanted to basically show you some of the things that I did and actually some lessons learned. You know, we see a lot of things on Facebook where people do inlays. They don't show the issues they have. Well, I had a couple of issues. I want to share them with you. So I'm going to show you that, and hopefully you'll learn something from it. So here you can see me just basically getting the cabinet cut out, getting it painted, some pre-assembly stuff. There's a hidden compartment right behind the Simplify there that you see coming up here. These are all things that they had no idea they were getting. They basically just sent me that little drawing at the beginning. This is some beautiful walnut that I was able to source that's going to make the top. You can see the saw marks in the walnut, basically telling you how old it is when it was milled. The top's going to have a beveled front. That first track there you see is for underneath lighting. This is some star bond repair work that I learned how to do here a while back. And then this piece here is going to be book match for the front drawer pull, the drawer fronts. So here I'm resawing it on my table saw. And then I'm going to take it over to the bandsaw and finish cutting it. So after it's glued up, I just run it through my drum sander to get it good and flat. Lay it out on the CNC machine, cut the design. I wanted to basically use the arches from the front. Use soft close drawer slides, which I really like those. I think they add a nice feature to the project and makes it a little bit classier, I believe. So there you can see the drawer fronts put on. Here's basically a picture of it completely assembled. Now we're going to start on the top. I'm cutting out my pocket, and the first thing I do is cut the pocket out for the inlay, seal it with polyacrylic. I've been using water-based polyacrylic for a long time. It works really good. You don't need a lot, but it seals up those end grains. So here I'm pouring my base color of black. I figured, okay, well, let's pour black and then we'll cut everything into it. Well, that's one of my mistakes that I had, and I'll explain that to you. As I start cutting all the pockets out, I'm cutting out now, getting ready to pour the red. You can see when I pour the red, it looks really red. I thought it was a nice red color, but when I poured it, I thought, looks a little bit orange, but I really didn't think that much about it. So then I started cutting out for the white, get all the white cut out, get all of it milled out, get it ready to go. That red still sitting there looking at me, looking sort of orange, but I'm sort of thinking, well, maybe it's just the lights. Maybe it's just the way that I'm looking at it. But the more and more I looked at it, the more I realized it looked like it had a little orange tint to it. So that was sort of nagging on me as I was continuing to work on this project. So as I cut out here for the white, I decided that I'm going to have to do something about the red. But anyway, I'm cutting out with a 30-degree V-bit, and then I use an 1/8 inch down cut end mill for my clean out. I cut out basically 0.15 for the main pocket, and then everything after that's 0.12. That leaves a bottom layer of resin in there, so it helps keep the bubbles down. But the problem that created, and you'll see that when I pour the yellow here. All right, I'm cut out, I'm ready to pour the white. So I'm getting ready to pour the white. The white goes down. It looks really, really nice. But cutting into that black and not going all the way down, I realized I had a problem when I started milling it all off. So you're going to see here when I pour the yellow looks really good, looks vibrant. I think, this thing's going to turn out perfect. I really like the way that it's looking. But that red is still nagging at me. So as I finish cutting out here for the yellow, I'm cutting out with the 30-degree V-bit again here, and then I'll go back with my 1/8 inch end mill, clean up everything. So now you can see where I'm ready to pour the yellow. And when this yellow goes down, it looks really good. But you can see the detail in this eagle here with that 30-degree V-bit. That's what this close-up shot here is for, just so you can see all the detail that's going to go into this thing. All those little pockets, and you got to make sure when you pour that you take a little dental pick or something and poke down in there, because you can have air trapped in there, and then when you get ready to mill it all off, you'll find out that you've got voids because your resin didn't go all the way in. So that's a little trick that I learned from mistakes again. So make sure anytime you're doing something tight like that, you take a little dental pick or a toothpick and poke in there, release all that air so it can go to the bottom. So now we're pouring this yellow. Now look at the yellow. It looks really, really vibrant. It looks good. I'm really, really happy with it. I think everything's going well. So now, you know, like everybody, you're excited. You're ready to fly cut this thing and see what you did. So I start fly cutting it off. I take just a little bit at a time. I don't go in there and just hog it all out. I take about, I don't know, a 30-second at a time. I like working my way down and letting it get down there and reveal itself. So far, so good. I'm liking what I'm seeing. See right here, I put a little water on it. The yellow and the red, the yellow looked green, the red looked orange. So having a Phantom CNC really pays off because the tolerances are so tight. I milled the red back out. I left a little bit of that red in the bottom so it would help me with that contrast. So I milled down 0.1, poured it, did the same thing with the yellow. I milled down 0.1 with the yellow this time, re-poured the yellow, same mix, same concentration, but I had a yellow underneath it instead of that black. And now you can see that it looks much better. It does not have quite a green tint to it that it did sitting just in that black. So point learned here, if you're going to be pouring multiple colors, you need to be careful when you pour into a dark base because it will affect your colors. And no matter how dark I tinted that yellow, it will affect it. So lesson learned. And then I used odiesoil. I went back and forth with a lot of different research, and I decided to use odiesoil on this finish. It's the first time I've used it. I really liked it. I like the way that it went on. I like the way that it buffed off. Some people use a power buffer to buff it off. I just used the terry cloth towel like they recommended. That was my first coat. I wanted to get a coat on the bottom and the top before I mounted it. So then once I mounted it, I put a second coat on. I actually ended up putting 3 coats on. I just wanted to put as much protection on there as I could. So this is applying the second coat. Once I got it on, I let it sit for about 45 minutes, I guess. And then I buffed it all off. And there you can see on this edge is a little spot that I had to fix where there was a hole in the top. But I love the way that the finish came out. I was looking for a nice matte finish. So I sanded everything to 400 grit. Didn't need to do anything else on the logo. 400 grit was enough. So now let's look at what the client thought, or the recipient, that is.
Whoa, that's so freaking cool. Dang, that's awesome. Wow. Holy shit. Oh, okay. That's awesome. Oh, look at that. Sweet. That's so freaking cool.
Everybody learned something from this video. I hope it helped you. If you have any questions, reach out to me. I'll be glad to try to help. Thanks.